everybody, thank you so much for joining. My name is Matthew. Today we're going to take a look at my website, following up on the back of the last video about the power trend. And finally, after all these years, actually, many people asking if I can get this thing online to play with and for people to see for themselves how the trendline regression works in an interactive way. I have finally done it. So very happy here. We have this new section on the website, and I'm going to update this more, by the way. Only one right now. It's called the chart. We're on this page, power trend. Okay. You can read through it yourself. We have the inputs of the power regression here, the relationship, the expression, the formula. Y, which is our Y is our dependent variable that we're going to try to predict, equals AX raised to the power of B. X is the independent variable. In this case, it's time, specifically days since January 3rd, 2009, the Genesis block. And as it happens in finance, as well as computer science, this is time zero. This is day zero, January 3rd, 2009. And when you put all that together, you have these two coefficients, which I explain here. One is a scale factor. The other is a rate of change modifier. These are roughly words that can be used to apply to the other regressions, the other basic financial, not financial, but just regular mathematical regressions. Linear, of course, classic linear, logarithmic, exponential, and power. These are coefficients that you need for efficiency and ease of use, a statistical program to derive them. And once you have those coefficients based on the underlying data, in our case, I'll take this off, and you can play around with this yourself here. In our case, price, based on the underlying data, you can get these coefficients and it will help you draw the trend line. So finally, you don't just have to watch my videos to see some of my charts and play around with the magic of numbers here and what can happen with Bitcoin out in the future. You can now do it for yourself on my website. So it's here, porkopolis.io/the chart. Okay. I'm not going to explain it. Plenty of videos have done that, including the very last video. Note this is for ease of use, for caching and speed and updating this. I'm not putting every single day on this chart. We're going out 27 years, in fact, to the 10,000th day of Bitcoin, which is the 21st of May, 2036. I'm only going on a monthly frequency. So that's why the price action looks a little bit more rounded here. And, it's just, you can't show every day in website form. At least I haven't figured out a way yet when you have such a wide span of data. But rest assured, in the background, what you're seeing here is a model that's updating based on daily price action. Okay, so this is the 1 sigma moves, and then 2 sigma moves are here in red. Okay, and the most important thing, again, people get all crazy about price, and I think back to an interview that we did with Eric Voorhees way back in 2017, where it doesn't really matter how you explain Bitcoin to someone. You can be the most rational, logical, free market, principled person. The only thing that most people care about is the price, or at least that's when they get excited. And I've done this a long time, talked about this on my podcast. That is a true statement, is a true fact. The important thing, actually, to think about beyond the price is what the price represents in the context of the Bitcoin system. Many people have talked about this, written about this, and what you're actually seeing with this power curve is you are visualizing supply and demand meeting at an ever higher and higher price. And since there is a limited supply of Bitcoin and an unlimited demand for sound money, as the price rises, and if it does so in this very interesting fashion of a power regression, this actually is modeling not just the market itself, it's modeling adoption. So that's the key. It's modeling adoption of Bitcoin's usage across the world. Very good fit. Here are my latest coefficients. Again, whether you're talking about A or B, any coefficient here, whether it be at this chart or any chart, any sort of statistical regression, people are going to get different answers depending on my pricing data is going to be a little bit different than other people's. I actually estimate pricing data all the way back to May 22nd, 2010, Bitcoin Pizza Day. So some people will have different coefficients, but these are mine. If you want to use Excel or Google Sheets to try to just plug this formula in and see what happens. X is days from the Genesis block, starts at 0. A is this coefficient. B is this coefficient, 5.8. It's a rate of change multiplier. That's the thing that's in the exponent. It really gives the shape of this curve in the power regression. And more of the scale, the height of it is defined by A, the scale factor. When you put all that together, you get the power curve. It's not the only type of statistical regression, but it is a pretty strong goodness of fit for Bitcoin. Whereas you see here, for many, many years, it's been a 95% goodness of fit. All right. Now, we can look a little bit further and try to understand, is this really a power regression? Does it seem to be moving in a power, by its nature? Is Bitcoin's adoption moving in a power curve? Well, if you put it on log scale, so now we have log linear here. Log is on the y-axis, linear on the x-axis, and as far as dates go. We can go log linear, and here I have days to actually show you days from the Genesis block. Log on the y, log on the x-axis. When you have that, if you see a straight line, that is, I'm not a mathematician, so I can't say always. I've heard that it's not always a power curve, but typically what you're going to be looking at is a power regression. Okay, so when you see a straight line on log, that's the easiest way to understand that you're probably looking at a power curve. All right, so that's what's happening here. Days are expanded closer to 0. They are compressed further away from 0. And that shows you this nice straight line. Again, don't think this is just about making money. And it is certainly for many people. And I don't exclude myself from that basic tenet of economics. Certainly, as people acquire more wealth, they accumulate and save the difference of their productive output, their productive capacity. They're going to need a place to store that wealth. And traditionally, that has been gold, silver, even bronze alloys. Fiat, paper money as well, is a store of value. Not necessarily a very good store of value. It is a store of value. Now we have Bitcoin. So the point of saying all that is that it's much more akin to showing you how this is being adopted than to any spectacular observation about where the price may go. So bottom line, hopefully this is interesting for you to finally on your own be able to see the coefficients and the trend lines that I'm able to draw in a power regression form for Bitcoin and project that all the way out 10,000 days into Bitcoin's life. Go down a little bit more here. You're saying this predicts the future. Nope. Models are helpful. They are certainly not always useful. There's a couple famous quotes about that. Everybody uses models and predictions to sort of expand on our own baseline in our own lives. It's no different here. There are many cheeky models out there which don't take into account demand. One variable, that is one independent variable models, are very helpful because they will adjust over time. We have supply and demand here, and the more pricing data we feed in, the stronger this relationship becomes, especially as the R squared stays the same or continues to increase. And by the way, you notice this with Bitcoin address growth, hash rate growth, many other things. Just want to take a moment to remind you that this show is brought to you by Trezor, home of the original Bitcoin hardware wallet. Established in 2012, Trezor means business in Bitcoin security and functionality. Whether you're protecting your identity with Tor or using Trezor Suite to smoothly send or receive a Bitcoin transaction, Trezor gives you full control of your coins in a transparent and fully open source manner, both on the hardware and software level. So head on over to Trezor.io to grab your Trezor Safe 3 with the secure element, Model T with a touchscreen, or the original Trezor 1, as well as a ton of available accessories to back up your keys and keep your coins safe. We're proud to be associated with Trezor this year. Oh yeah, well, the point is, we're not predicting the future here. Just to finish the thought here, we're not trying to predict the future with this model. We're just trying to show you probabilities. That's what I'm trying to do. And we have these 2 sigma up, 2 sigma down moves. Anything that's inside this red band is a 95% of the time observation, 67% of the time inside the blue bands. So that's what I'm trying to do. How does it evolve? This is an interesting table I just added here today as of this recording. Here is something that's also overlooked. I've shown this in different videos, but we'll try to show it in table form now, in number form. We have Bitcoin price, the trend growth rate, the trend doubling rate, the trend slowing rate. Because as you can see, the trend is a little bit, it slows over time. It's a little bit asymptotic, and it's a lot asymptotic actually, but compared to, let's say, it slowed 54% between 2012 and 2011, and then 38% between 2013 and 2012, down until now. Projecting out to 2035, it's going to slow only 4.2% per year by 2035. We could project further out, but this is the nature of the power curve. Okay, this is the trend line price, not the 1 or 2 sigma price moves, but the trend line price expected. Average price for Bitcoin, as you can see throughout the years, but this is an interesting one. I would put your attention to this last column here. Let's read the title. If prior year-end trend lines held, the projected price today would be these amounts. Okay, so this updates every day, and now you have it on the website for you to check in on anytime. But I've shown this on many podcasts, many videos. If you started with that 2010 trend line, okay, the absolute crazy growth that happened from, say, between 0 and 1 when Bitcoin didn't have a price to when it went to $1, all right, which was happened in 2010 and 2011. It went up and down, but in 2010 specifically. If you just looked at the 2010 pricing trends data, the pricing data of 2010, and projected it out to today, you would get $2.2 billion Bitcoin. Price per Bitcoin. You're not reading that wrong. $2.2 billion per Bitcoin. That's based on the 2010s price trend. If you went all the way out to the end of 2011, you'd get $92 million Bitcoin today as of this recording. If you looked at until the end of 2012, you'd get 150,000. Now, what are you seeing? You're getting something that is getting closer to today's trend and actually closer to today's price. And the interesting thing is, we got some wild numbers still from the 2010 to 2015 trend lines. But look from 2016. From 2016 on, look at the numbers in this column. They're similar. Okay, yeah, they can be off by $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 year to year. But you're looking at something roughly between, let's say, $70,000 per Bitcoin and $90,000 per Bitcoin. If you looked at all the way from the beginning of Bitcoin to the 2018 trend, which included the 2017 boom, of course, and not the retracement after that, you're looking at something between $60,000 and $90,000 Bitcoin projected for today by the trend line. And what is the actual Bitcoin price? This is the average of 2024. The actual is in the mid 65,000 or so as of this recording. Interesting, right? We're below it, actually. We're posting lower numbers. And I can also tell you that, interestingly, up until the end of last year, 2016 was the lowest. So it's not the case. You might think that this always falls down, down, down. Nope. 2016 for a long time was the lowest trend line produced after that crypto winter of the 2013 boom, 2012, 2013 boom. So we were at, high 60,000s for a long time. And then as more data comes in and as more trend lines get drawn, they strengthen. And we were, as of, let's say, the end of 2022, at $77,000 Bitcoin. That would be the trend. Be clear, that would be what the trend line would predict as of the day that you're looking at this table. Because of the 2022, 2023 bear markets, FTX debacle, all the rest, scam coins, nothing new under the sun for those that have been following Bitcoin for a long time, this fell again. And we actually posted a lower, as of even now, we're at the lowest level ever of what the trend line predicts. Okay. But as you can see, that's not always going to be the case. Based on what happened in 2016, presumably, if we continue adoption of Bitcoin, if Larry Fink and BlackRock still likes Bitcoin, and that's not the only one, I don't want to use that example too much, frankly. If the world keeps adopting Bitcoin, there's no reason why the price won't move back above this trend line, which, to be clear, by year end is 90,000. 90,000 is the trend at year end. At year end 2023 is 61,000. As the price posts more daily closes above the trend line, you will pull the trend line back up. You will pull the trend line back up. So as you can see right here, and again, we're looking at monthly frequency. This isn't as interactive, or I shouldn't say interactive. This isn't as perhaps as interesting as my daily videos that I do for you. We can see here that we're right on trend as of right now. All right, end of year, month end February 2024. The trend line itself, 65,000. The price at the end of February was 61,000. Obviously, we've been over 70,000 since then. We're right on trend. We're right on trend. And as is expected, as Bitcoin continues to be adopted, we will pull this black line back up as this green line goes above the black line. All right, that's as easy as I could say it, I guess, in layman's terms, or someone that's not slogging through the numbers as I am here. So, in my opinion, this is a very interesting column. I pay attention to it. It is true. We're just not on 2010's trend of Bitcoin. We're never going to, I shouldn't say never say never. Seems very unlikely that we'd hit $2.2 billion per Bitcoin anytime soon. But these trend lines from 2016 seem pretty reasonable as far as Bitcoin adoption goes. And again, as I say here, the rest is probabilities. So it's not just, when you say prediction or a model talks about prediction, I talked about this for years. As I said, I first published a chart here of the power law regression trend line of Bitcoin in 2018. The rest is probabilities. All right. So hopefully you can enjoy that chart. And then, of course, I put related research, Dr. Giovanni Santostasi from the BTC Power Law handle. He has done many different charts and much work on this over the years as well, much more detailed than I have been. So do check out his work. It's linked here as well. And that's what you will find on the power trend porkopolis.io/the chart page of my website. So I hope this helps. Definitely keep calm, hodl on, carry on into the future, be good to each other. And as always, never financial advice, but I do hope that this macro, big picture, statistical analysis of Bitcoin's pricing action and a proxy for adoption can give you and allow for maybe a little bit less stress in the day-to-day. Thanks for watching.